Hey, Browns fans! This is your chance to join the company of some of the Browns' all-time greats on the first ever Browns fan cruise. Picture this. For 5 unforgettable days, you're sailing across the beautiful Caribbean Sea, reliving the Browns' greatest moments, getting autographs, snapping photos, and celebrating on the beach with your favorite Browns alumni, like Josh Cribbs, Webster Slaughter, Eric Metcalf, and a dozen others. Book now and take advantage of our easy, budget-friendly payment plans on this once-in-a-lifetime, all-inclusive cruise adventure. The clock's ticking, Browns fans. To book your cabin and for more information, visit brownsfancruise.com or call 216-284-6472 today. Browns Fan Cruise, where diehard fans and Browns alumni come together for the trip of a lifetime. Don't wait. Secure your spot today and go Browns!
It's time for the Burning River Sportscast. The countdown to Brown season is ramping up. Days away from training camp and the Hall of Fame game against the goddamn Jets. A surprising summer league has been dominated by the young Cavs, who have themselves poised for the championship game. And the Guardians are waffling between contender and pretender. Luckily, as Red Hot Ronnie James puts it, there's still like 900 games left in the season for them to figure it out. And if you haven't booked your tickets to the Cleveland Browns fan cruise yet, you're wrong. And where else would you rather be than right here, where we break it all down for you next on the Burning River Sportscast?
It's hard.
If you knew the rules, it's a little bit easier.
I mean, look, I've played FIFA.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers came to New York to bang Zach Wilson's mom.
Zach Wilson is actually DPing Aaron Rodgers' mom as we speak.
Wow.
That's Hard Knocks,
it's
baby.
Getting graphic.
That's Hard Knocks. This is going to be the biggest news story no one's heard of to this point.
Yes.
69.
Okay. What?
Confused?
You're just leaving it that nothing else to tell? What is... In God's name just happened.
That's how you close out a show, bitch.
Holy hell. Because quit saying DP. It's pissing me off.
Welcome into the Burning River Sportscast, presented by Tappan Media and brought to you by the Cleveland Browns Fan Cruise. I'm Kenny Thunder, seated beside 3-time Quidditch champion and the ultimate golden snitch, Red Hot Ronnie Jams. And on the board today, we've got the world's oldest, fully intact reptilian skeletal collection, the Big Bone Man. Ronnie, where can the people find the best Browns pie this side of Hogwarts?
I'm excited. I'm the golden snitch. You can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Castro, Good Pods, and so many more. And while we are at it, make sure you check out our merch. That's at www.thetappenmedia.com/shop. New things dropping daily. Okay, not daily, but pretty often.
Weekly.
Weekly, probably. Yeah, weekly. I mean, we got these giant mouse pads that you can't see, so those are dope. But yeah, make sure you check all that stuff out. Quite a few t-shirts on there. Those t-shirts are getting good too.
Oh, yeah.
So, and constantly adding more, and we'll be adding more stuff as we get closer to the fan cruise. Specifically, you might be interested if you're going on the fan cruise.
Whole cruise pack, maybe.
Cruise pack.
Yeah, cruise
the
pack.
old cruise pack. Zach, say hi.
What's up? He's here.
The Bone Man is here.
Our new board up.
All right, so it's time for the Burning River News Story of the Week.
Psych!
So we usually do a news story to open the show. Instead, this week, we want to let you know that us here at Burning River Sportscast and Tappan Media have been working for over a year on a news story that's going to blow your mind.
Over a year.
It involves one of our very own Cleveland sports franchises and a conspiracy that has inadvertently turned into another conspiracy.
Wow.
Did the organization know what they were doing? In attempting to fix a perceived wrong, did they actually make the only decision that could make things any worse? How did their PR teams not see the ramifications of a was the decision they ended up making. This is a story you need to hear. Join us next week for the Cleveland news story of the year.
This is going to be huge.
It's going to be big.
You thought Watergate was big? No.
No. And now that I got you excited for next week, let's get into this week's show.
Well, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, let's get into this week's show.
Bi-weekly.
It's time for the Burning River Rundown.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the off-season continues to drag, but we're still here. We've still got Browns things to report.
Sure do.
Training camp starts this weekend as the Browns head to the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. What a mouthful.
West Virginia.
That's the worst town name I've ever heard.
Mama. Yeah.
I thought you were going to keep singing that. But yeah, so they'll be heading to the Greenbrier. They're there for what, a week and a half or something like that?
Just about.
Yeah, and then they come back and you get some of the fan training camp events that we talked about last week.
And the preseason.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But during the break, before training camp begins, 3 Browns players got married.
Nuptials.
Nice. Congratulations, Harrison Bryant, Juan Thornhill, and Tommy Togiai.
Do you think Juan Thornhill got another tattoo to commemorate it?
on his left arm, he's got the shield with every team he's played for, and on his right arm, I guess it's his first wife, so he'd have his wife's name. Maybe he'll add if he gets divorced.
That might be like a neck tat.
Like he just collects the names of all of his wives on his arm. I don't know. No, I'm sorry, Juan. I'm sorry. Congratulations. We're just making jokes. We love you. But now that they've been married and they went through their weddings and everything and all the planning and everything that goes into that, they got to switch gears and get ready for the season. So
yes, we'll be here before you know it.
I feel like that's a tough thing to go for. I'm just gonna get married and then I don't know, 3 days later I'm in training camp.
It's probably a little easier though when you have an NFL salary.
Fair. Okay, I accept that. Yeah. But yeah, so this season, the expectations across the board are kind of low for the Browns outside of Cleveland, I would say, right? Like everything you've been reading, all the sports pundits and everything, they're all saying that Cleveland's not going to do too hot, right?
Well, I mean, there's so many questions around Deshaun. There's so much hype around Joe Burrow, Lamar getting the contract, and you just never know. So I mean, Cleveland's been a dumping ground for years, and most people just don't expect that to change.
Yeah, and so it's funny because outside, like that's the view. Like everybody's like, they're going to finish 3rd or 4th in the division. In Cleveland, we know it's a make or break year. There's these coaches, these players, they got to perform. There's going to be sweeping changes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But one man in the sports analyst world, one man has a different thought. The Athletics' Mike Jones, named the Browns the NFL's most overlooked team heading into 2023.
Don't say.
Yeah, so he points to these 3 things as the keys to the Browns' success this year. This is nothing new. We've talked about all of these. Improved QB play, the addition of Jim Schwartz,
and
the improvement of the defensive line.
Free agents.
So, I mean, those are all things that we've obviously talked about on the show, but he thinks that those things will actually happen, and he actually went on to write that he thinks they'll be challenging the Bengals for the North this year.
I just still can't get over the Bengals being good.
Me neither.
I mean, here's the thing. If Joey B gets hurt...
They've lost 50 less games than us in the last 20 years.
Yeah, thank you. If Joe Burrow gets hurt, though, this team's not going to win a game.
Oh, that's true. Break people's clavicles. No, but I hope that Mike Jones is right, because that would be super dope if we actually did challenge for the North. And I mean, that's kind of the expectation, right? That you have to have, considering all the talent on the team.
Inside of Cleveland, like, this is put up or shut up time.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny. You in Cleveland, you listen to fans and even some of the Cleveland radio personalities out there, and they're all like, "This team's great. We're fantastic. We're going to win."
On paper, this is one of the best teams in the NFL.
Literally everywhere everywhere else, they're like, yeah, they'll probably lose.
Well, what you're saying, but yeah, then the rest of the national media has no respect at all.
Yeah, so I do hope that Mike Jones is right and we challenge for that North Crown. But in free agency news here, a devastating blow for the Browns.
Devastating.
I guess it's not devastating. We still got decent wide receivers. But D-Hop to Cleveland Dreams are officially dead. He has signed with Tennessee for far more money than we could have paid him at 2 years, $26 million.
Yeah, look, I think this just goes to show, like, the age-old adage, just like the players are going to go to the money. Like,
An old adage. Nice. I like old adages.
The players are going to follow the money. It doesn't matter if Cleveland might have been a better fit for him with Deshaun here. 2 years, $26 million. I mean,
he's up towards or over 30. So I mean, like, I think he's over 30. So
and there was apparently a ton of question marks coming out of last season and thinking about what kind of teammate he is, what kind of practice performer he is, how he is in the locker room. So, who knows? Maybe he dodged a bullet here. I still would have liked to have him here because I think he would have had instant chemistry with Deshaun, and Deshaun needs it.
Yeah.
Based on the way he played last year at the end of the season, but hey, it's over now, and they have Julio Jones 2.0 there in Tennessee.
Yeah, all things. Well, yeah, that's one thing to be said. Is did he go to end his career? Because I mean, lately Julio Jones. There's like four of them. Julio Jones, Randy Moss ended up there at the last year of his career. Like,
I just don't know. I mean, it's a strange because you think about it like fit, right? Like, is Tannehill on his way out? They've drafted a quarterback. Like, who knows what's going to happen there?
They're literally, in my opinion, like a worse version of the Browns. Like, they got a really, really good running game.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Tannehill, there they were, right? Because Tannehill was serviceable as a starter.
I should say before Deshaun Watson
and a good defense, and it's a model that's worked in the NFL for years. But now all of a sudden, there's, they don't want Tannehill there anymore, and who knows what's going to happen in their quarterback room?
Yeah, and look here, all things considered, I'm actually glad that we didn't get D-Hop, considering how much he got paid, because I would not have wanted the Browns to pay him when there's other people that are going to need to be paid here.
Sure.
So, it is what it is. But I will ask this question. Does this impact Deshaun's clout at all?
I think 100% it does. I think 100% that it at the very least impacts the relationship between Deshaun and the front office, because Deshaun publicly was endorsing bringing him here.
Yeah, that's true. And he campaigned hard for it. And it seems like nothing. I mean, obviously, we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but it just seems like literally nothing was done.
But my guess is you wouldn't say publicly, I want D-Hop here, and then behind closed doors say, don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I meant like with the team, like it just seems like they didn't really do anything to make anything happen. Yeah. And I don't know what the negotiating looked like.
And probably from AB's standpoint, like he can come to Deshaun confidently and say, like, we weren't going to give him $13 million a year. Like, it's
just not happening.
Just wouldn't happen, which is fair.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully, to your point though, I mean, you talked about on the last episode, maybe this causes a rift between Deshaun and the front office, and hopefully that wasn't one of his boys that he was like, I really want, and hopefully it was a loose, publicly, like, hey, I want this guy, but like behind the scenes, you're like,
and that's my concern, is because these things don't happen all at once, right? Like, Baker Mayfield went through a lot of trial and tribulation before half the fan base hated him. There's these small things all of a sudden, after it happens over and over and over again, turn into bigger fractures. So I just would say this is one to keep remember, put in the back of your mind, and when the next thing happens where it's like, Deshaun in front office doesn't quite see eye to eye, whatever that is, whether it's, who knows, I mean, this year's going to be a what could happen in Cleveland sports, but I just would say, like, just keep that in mind. The next time it happens, and all of a sudden you have a pariah that costs you $230 million.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, hopefully they can reel it in and get him something he does want. I don't know.
$230 million.
Yeah, I mean, there's that he's still got going.
Do you just tell Deshaun, sorry, you have $230 million?
You have $230 million. I think you'll be all right. Yeah, I I mean, probably. But listen, we're going to move on here. I came across a story today about Cade York. And you know there's nothing that gets me more fired up than kickers.
I'm so hard.
So let's talk about Cade F. York. Cade York, peppermint patty, must-see TV. He's got a leg that can smash and an impeccable stash, making kicks and stealing chicks, scoring goals and crushing souls. Yes, that Cade throwing shade York. He came out guns blazing last year, right? Right?
Yeah, I bought a jersey.
All right then. Hell yes, he did. He hit a 58-yarder week 1 in his rookie season to win the game. As time expired to send Baker and all his bros crying to a failed season in his third and fourth teams in less than a calendar year. But what happened next? Cade York missed a couple extra points. He missed quite a few field goals in the back half of the season that cost the Browns a couple different games. But his confidence seemingly never wavered. He told the press that he was good to go every week. Well, hold on a minute. In this story, this past week, he did an interview with The Athletic and admitted that he was dwelling on kicks and mechanics and was in his own head a little bit. So you'd think that the special teams coach would reel the rookie in, right? Right?
I would hope so.
Wrong. Our special teams coach was Mike Prefer, and I said all last year that I would prefer anybody but him.
You said no one at one time.
So what did he do with Cade always made York? Nothing. He just let him try to figure it out. Now, I bring all this up because now we have Bubba Ray Ventrone. We've got Mr. Ventrone as our special teams coordinator, and he's come in from day one and worked hard with the too much leg torque Cade York, and it seems like the special teams for the Browns are poised for a big season. So, bottom line is this: hotter than Miami-Dade Cade. Sounds like he's got some swagger coming into the season, and I'm putting some sort of money on this guy for something. For what? I don't know, but I'm gonna put some money on him. Let's fucking go. Cade fucking York. Let's go.
I wasn't expecting to have a Cade York topic.
I was so excited when I read this. I was like, Cade York's back, baby.
Look, I still like Cade. He's young. He's got a huge leg. I bought a jersey. I'm all here. I'm here for it.
I don't know if you've got the Cade York confidence meter ready yet.
I'm working on it. It's been a busy offseason planning a news story for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it has, and you had a baby. But if you happen to get that finished, it's through the roof right now. Confidence meter's through the roof.
I mean, can it be anywhere else?
No.
It's the preseason.
I'm so excited for Cade York.
Cade York hasn't missed a kick in 2023.
Those are facts. I mean, unless he missed one at the end of the season.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, but in the 2023 season, he hasn't missed a kick yet.
Cade York, already a legend.
All right, so speaking of Browns legends, Clay Matthews and Marty Schottenheimer were named finalists for the Hall of Fame for next year. So Clay Matthews, dude played 19 seasons in the most grueling era of football and played them all at a very high level. Why is he a finalist now and not already in?
It's purely because A, the Hall of Fame looks at guys that play for a long time as stat compilers, and B, the problem is he wasn't compiling stats because they really weren't tracking sacks the way that they track them today. So I think he went for quite a few years without having any sacks before they started counting those as an official NFL statistic. But
how's that even fair?
But
you don't have that many sacks because we didn't even know what a sack was.
Well, and that's what I remember. There was a story about like his daughter went through like all his film and like re-add up his sacks, and like he's like, if you take all the sacks that they didn't count, he's like one of the highest sack total guys in the history of the NFL.
He's got a sack full of sacks that didn't count.
But like they didn't count. So, but I just go back to like this guy played 19 seasons in an era of football where. It's just funny.
I mean, this was like the power bomb to the Steelers era.
Yes, like this was like the don't tell like steroid policy era. Like,
is that over?
We're like, it's just funny because this was I think the anniversary of Hulk Hogan sitting on the stand to quit McMahon of saying, he never offered me steroids, but I just took them all the time because they were good. But it was the same in the NFL at the time, right? Like these guys, like these it was just like normal. Like they just took steroids as like pain pills. So these were the biggest, strongest, fastest fastest guys in the team at a time when the league wasn't worried about player safety. And this
It was literally American Gladiator.
this guy played 19 seasons. Awesome to have him in the mix finally, because this is the guy that's earned it. He's been steward of the community for a long time. Nobody deserves the Hall of Fame quite like Clay Matthews.
Yeah, and then we talked about Clay Matthews, Marty Schottenheimer too. Though dude won literally everything but the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We did talk about this earlier. The non-player class is pretty strong. We got names like Mike Holmgren, Robert Kraft, Dan Reeves, Art Rooney Jr., Mike Shanahan, Amy Trask, and of course that piece of shit Art Modell. May he rot in hell.
Art Modell.
Yeah, he should. Can he come back so we can kill him again?
He was murdered.
Wow.
But a Browns fan
that we know of.
But a Browns fan did get arrested for peeing on his grave.
You and me both.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marty. I guess maybe he's still on the outside looking in, just because there's so many names on that list.
Oh yeah, I mean there's some huge names in that list.
But this was his first time as a finalist, so I mean, there's still hope that he'll get in eventually.
Yeah, look, I mean Marty was great here, and Marty was great in a lot of other places. He won a ton of football games in his career, but that elusive Super Bowl, it tends to keep you out of that conversation.
I know. Winners, champions, all loved.
Ruben Clanahan.
Yeah. Finally, the Browns put out a teaser video this week about a uniform announcement that they will be making on 7/18. And so we recorded the podcast on Mondays, which is 7/17. So that announcement will be old news by the time you hear this. But basically, the teaser video was in conjunction with Dude Wipes.
Dude Wipes.
And absolutely set the Browns up for all kinds of shit jokes. But in the end, the dude is wiping a helmet clean with these Dude Wipes, and the orange comes off. So I'm pretty positive that tomorrow they're going to be announcing the white helmets finally. These things have been rumored for several years, ever since the NFL announced that they were going to allow alternate helmets. And I'm pretty pumped about it, because the throwbacks of them with the white helmets and the throwback jersey we've been using recently with white jerseys and white lettering with the orange kind of like shadowing.
Like the Nick Chubb jersey we give away.
Yeah, like the Nick Chubb jersey we gave away. I mean, it's going to look pretty sick nasty when they're in all white with those things.
Yeah. Look, I mean, this is to me more of an NFL thing even than a Browns thing. Like, I'm just glad the NFL has finally come around to letting some of these teams change up their uniforms a bit during the season.
What's the point of not being able to wear alternate helmets? Especially with all the money that the NFL makes in revenue. What is the point? Like, it's just one more thing for you to sell.
And the stupid thing is you've been able to buy a white helmet or an autographed white helmet on their website for years and years. So why not be able to wear them on the field doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially from like player safety. Like, is there anything safer than a new helmet? Come on.
Right.
It's brand new.
It's new.
It's the newest technology available.
It's new. You bought a helmet for one of our events coming up soon.
I did. It's on its way.
Nice. I'm excited about that.
Thanks.
In case you guys are wondering, we're going to be throwing eggs at Kenny in the Muni lot. So get ready for that. We'll let you know more details on the next episode. But anyways, so that'll do it for the Browns. It's a light week this week. Everybody's kind of off and resting and not really doing much leading up to the training camp.
Honeymooning.
But we do have other Cleveland sports going on right now. The Guardians, currently at 45-48, are playing the terrible Pittsburgh Pirates as we speak. I hope to God they're winning. But currently they're second in the AL Central, 2.5 games back of the Twins. And I have to issue a correction from the last episode. Everything is not starting to come together. They continue to probably be the most frustrating team in all of sports. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're really bad. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing out there.
They just bounce back and forth from they look like they have it together to injuries are waning on them. They can't hit the ball. You've got two guys that consistently hit it right now with Josh Naylor and J-Ram, and the rest of these guys sometimes just look lost out there.
They do.
But you also also have like an intriguing farm system and young guys coming up that have played well in spots. The pitching rotation is still strong, albeit without some of the injuries they've had.
We'll talk about one of them coming up here.
It's just I don't know what to make of this. It's like last year there was no expectations and the team overperformed and got everybody excited. This year they come in, there's some expectations. They're still not really making a ton of moves. It seems like all the moves that they made in the offseason really haven't panned out in any meaningful way.
No.
So it's going to be up to the farm system guys, it seems like, from here on out, that if you're going to bring guys up. But
I guess they have one of the strongest farm systems in all of baseball, but it's just frustrating because what you're going to get is what you're seeing. Is you're going to see a lot of inconsistencies throughout the season if you're relying on those guys.
And the only thing I can think is like, maybe this. Like I've heard a lot of gloom and doom on the radio recently about this now being essentially a lost season for the Guardians, but
we ain't there yet. We're only 2.5 games back. We're playing the AL Central. We trash, bro.
I still think it's too early to call it a lost season.
I
because ultimately Francona's going to have these guys within 1 or 2 games of 500 at the end of the season, which may just be good enough to win the Central. So
true. Very true.
And if they're in the postseason, you're not going to call it a lost season.
Yeah. So more from the Guardians here.
Even if they limp in.
True. Jose Ramirez was one of the lone bright spots for the AL in the All-Star game. Slow All-Star game this year. Low scoring, not a lot going on. But he did drive in a run late. However, it wasn't enough in the NL1. Does anyone even watch the All-Star game?
My mom was trying to watch it. I was like, we're not watching this right now. So
it's baseball. I don't know. It's baseball that doesn't even matter.
I will say this. It's the one All-Star game that like you probably should watch because the competition is probably as good as it can be because no one's really getting hurt playing baseball for the most part. Like not in the same way that like basketball players and football players do when they play all out.
Yeah, it's an All-Star game. There's already 900 games in the season for the Guardians. And then you add an All-Star game that nobody cares about on top of it, and it's like, yeah, let's go watch this.
And I think its
ratings are going to be through the roof.
There's so many players. The All-Star game.
Plus, everybody knows All-Star Weekend. Nobody cares about anything but the home run derby.
Yeah,
that's all anybody cares about. Which was pretty dope this year. Who was it? It was Vlad Jr., wasn't it?
Are you looking at the board operator like you should know?
Bone Man, you know who won? He was looking at me. Bone Man, do you know who won the home run derby? This is how much we watch baseball. This is good.
I didn't see it, so
I know it was father-son. So who was the
Vlad Jr.?
That's what I said. It was Vlad Jr. So it was the first father-son
teamwork there.
The first father-son duo to ever win the home run derby because his dad won when he was playing. So it was pretty dope.
That's just because I didn't win.
But again, nobody cares because it's baseball. But there was a good story this past week for the Guardians. The Naylor brothers hit home runs in the same game and actually the same inning. So it was the first time in Cleveland history that brothers hit home runs in the same game. It was the first time since 2020 in the MLB that brothers hit home runs in the same game. That game they were opponents. First time since 2014 since brothers who were teammates hit home runs in the same game. Why are there so many brothers in the MLB? That's weird that it's only been since 2014. And they couldn't confirm the stat, but it may be the first time ever that brothers hit home runs in the same inning.
It was pretty dope when it happened. Like I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, I mean that's an awesome moment.
And I was telling her, I was like, Mom, those are brothers. She was like, you're pulling my leg. No, they're really brothers.
Why is that a saying? Why would I don't understand. Like, why would I pull your leg? Like, what does that do for anybody?
I don't know. If you pull Tina's leg, she'll fart.
But yeah, so maybe the first time ever that happened in the same inning. But you know what happened next?
They went on to lose a game.
Yeah, the Guardians lost. So it just goes back to my previous statement. Everything is not coming together.
The weekend again.
Just when you think it's getting good, it gets bad.
The weekend in Texas was rough. They were ahead in a couple of those games, especially the Sunday night game, Sunday afternoon game, because that was a game they should have won. They had a lead going into the 8th inning, and man, they just are becoming synonymous with like late game collapse.
Yeah. And speaking of not coming together for the Guardians, let's talk about the Shane Bieber injury real quick.
Goodness. Look, we don't talk bad about Terry Francona a whole lot.
No, but this thing has been so just bizarre. IR. Basically, so right now he's been sent to the 15-day IR.
Let's start with this.
IL, injured list. The IL with elbow soreness, elbow inflammation.
Let's start with this. Shane Bieber's been one of the bright spots in your rotation for a little while now.
A couple of years, right?
And knowing that he's a little bit older, and that we weren't going to give him a big contract.
Nope.
He was fresh bait for a trade.
Oh, yeah.
In a time when you really could use some...
So what do you do in that situation?
Well, you would think you might try to take care of him in his arm.
Protect him at all costs. He's our most valuable asset on the trade block, right? No. Terry Francona, again, we don't talk bad about Terry Francona a lot. We think he's one of the best, if not the best coach in baseball. But he did come out and say that his elbow has been irritating him the last few starts. But they continued to play him. And I mean, this, like you said, this dude's expected to be the biggest piece that you have to move on the trade block. And now he's what, damaged goods, and we probably aren't even going to be able to get him out of town?
Well, yeah, it's like, what's the best case scenario now? Like, he gets healthy before the end of the season, you can trade him at the end of the season, but he's not going to be worth...
Maybe if you happen to slip into the playoffs, you guys go on a run because...
Yeah, but that's just a terrible plan. Like, let's keep pitching him so he gets injured so that we can use him in the playoffs hopefully he comes back healthy.
Yeah, like, it's just the handling of this whole thing was so odd, knowing that he's the guy that you're going to look to trade probably.
From a staff that is generally good at this.
Very good at it.
So, yeah, really disappointing because, like I said, what's your best case scenario now? He comes back at the end of the season and can throw the ball again, and you get something for him, but you wouldn't get something like you would get at like the trade deadline when teams are buying for the playoffs and know, hey, I can get another solid arm in here that's going to help us in the postseason. And now that arm is, who knows? It sounds like he's not going to need surgery, which is good, but
hopefully it's just elbow inflammation and not something torn in there. He goes on the injured list for a few days, gets a second opinion. They're like, actually, you just blew out your elbow.
Yeah, Tommy Johns. Here we go.
Ew, I don't want that. But anyway, so that'll do it for the Guardians. So as you can tell, we're pretty high on the Guardians right now. So next up, though, we got the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers now, granted it's only Summer League, whatever that is, they're in the Summer League Championship.
They are blowing their load all over the Summer League.
They will play the Rockets in the Summer League Championship. And the young guys have looked good. Since the draft, Imani Bates has done and said all the right things. He actually kind of came out after the draft and was like, look, I know I had some issues. I know there were some things that went on, whatever. But I'm here to put that behind me, work hard, and I want to do everything right for this team. So he's done and said everything right so far. He's worked hard in Summer League and looked good.
And he's put up 20 pointers in the Summer League.
Yeah, so hopefully that all pans out and he continues to do that. Yeah, it is Summer League, so I don't know what that means. But also down there making some noise in the Summer League is Isaiah Mobley. He's just making huge strides. He finished the season strong. He had like a 30-point game in the last playoff game. And he's really starting to develop like they kind of hoped he would when they took a flyer on him. But it's Summer League. I don't even know if that stuff matters. But it's happening.
Look, it's been must-see TV this time of year because there's nothing happening.
Yeah, this is like the low. This is literally like the low light for sports.
When's the last time that the Cavs won the Summer League?
I don't know.
I don't know. But now they might.
I don't know if anybody knows the last time the Cavs won the Summer League. I don't know if anybody knows who wins the Summer League ever, but
I think it's cool.
I mean, I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool, but I just...
Especially because Imani Bates is NBA ready.
Yeah, I think my whole take from this whole thing is I'm just kind of like reading through Guards and Cavs stories this week, and I'm like, how dope is it that we got brothers on both teams?
That is dope.
That's dope ass. We just need the Browns to pick up a brother.
I wish we could get all three Naylor brothers.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
There's still hope, though. I mean,
you can trade for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need the Browns to pick up a set of brothers.
Like,
it's got to be good. It's got to be good for the team.
Nick Chubb had a brother.
Bradley Chubb, cousins.
Yeah, but he needs a brother. Get working on that.
I get a brother, Nick Chubb. All right, so in non-Cleveland news, LeBron James is changing his number back to 23. His number 6, well, not his number 6, Bill Russell's number 6 was retired last year after Bill Russell passed away across the league. However, everyone who was wearing it was grandfathered in and could wear it until they retired. LeBron says that he chose to wear it one final season as a tribute.
I volunteer as tribute.
And is now changing his number out of respect.
Of course he said that.
Or is it for jersey sales?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a way for him to get more jersey sales.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Lakers are probably updating their threads a little bit like NBA teams seem to do almost every year. And then you add a new number on it, and all of a sudden everybody needs a new jersey.
I feel like you should just change his number from 60 and 23 altogether at this point.
To what?
To anything.
But that's true.
69.
Okay. Well, he could go with that. But really, anything besides 6 and 23, that's probably how you're making the most money, right? You just say, here's a brand new jersey.
Yeah.
Nobody has this one.
He should be 623.
623. I like it.
Only guy to ever do it to him.
The only triple-digit basketball player that ever lived.
Or just 2.3.
2.3. Foul on number 2.3. Yeah, I like it. Next up here, Messi has officially arrived in Miami. Dude, this was fucking wild.
Inter Miami.
Did you watch this whole thing? Have you seen any of the coverage on this?
I didn't watch it happen, but I saw some coverage.
I will repeat, and yes, I'll drop another F-bomb. This was fucking wild. Dude, people were everywhere. They sold out the stadium just to introduce him. He's getting mobbed all over Miami, just getting out of his car, going to the grocery store. It doesn't matter. He's just there's just a mob around him at all times. It reminded me of the movie Ali when he's training and they're running next to him. Yeah, in the village. Yeah, everybody's training around him. Well, they're not training. Ali's training, and they're just running around him. Or in Rocky when the city runs with him. That's what you choose your reference. But
Fiction
that's what
and nonfiction both.
Yeah, it's just wild. I've never seen something like this, and to me, I mean, I'm not even that big of a soccer fan. I don't hate soccer, but I'm not a big soccer fan. But to everybody that says that soccer will never do anything in the U.S., I mean, I think that the biggest problem with soccer in the U.S. has been there's no star power. You bring Messi over here, and all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of him.
I don't know. I still can't watch the whole soccer game, man. It's hard. It's hard. Even when the U.S. is playing, in the World Cup, it's hard.
If you knew the rules, it's a little bit easier.
I mean, look, I've played FIFA.
That's when you play the NHL game and you're all of a sudden a hockey fan for a minute, but then you decide you like the Nashville Predators, and then you're like, I don't really like hockey.
I like the Nashville Predators.
I just play the game, so I like hockey.
And until Cleveland gets a hockey team, I will wear my Smashville hat.
Cleveland's getting an MLS team soon. Bet you didn't know that.
I will root for them, just like we do the Guardians and the Cavs. We'll have a small segment every week attached to the MLS.
What if Messi came and played for Cleveland? He was like, I love them small market teams.
I mean, was this about soccer and Messi, or was this about a big FU to the Saudis?
I mean, maybe. I guess.
I mean, thinking about this.
You think the common man out there on the street is like, I hate the Saudis. I'm going to show up for Messi today.
Thinking about this in the bigger picture, the Inter Miami, did they just blow this event up so that they were like, hey, he's here, everybody just go mob this guy?
You think Inter Miami arranged for people to just follow him all over the city? Just not a couple people, a whole mob of people.
Look, Miami's kind of like its own country.
It is?
Yeah. It's weird down there, man.
Well, you know who's hotter than Miami-Dade?
LaFontaine Blue.
Our boy Cade.
Cade York.
Oh, yes. Anyways, the New York Jets will be on Hard Knocks this year.
Of course they will.
Aaron Rodgers said it was practically forced on them, and he says it's a distraction and he doesn't like it. Let me repeat that. Aaron Rodgers is claiming that something is a distraction.
This isn't real.
But, I mean, I'm happy about it. Who doesn't want to see this dumpster fire, right? Am I right?
Yeah, look, I mean, we don't have any love lost for the New York Jets.
New York Jets are trash.
They are absolute trash. So this will be.
I will die on that hill.
This will be fun to watch for sure. Aaron Rodgers is angry because he probably has to make another trip back to the mountains for his ayahuasca. And look, I just think that this team, it's getting so much respect because Aaron Rodgers is there, and Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, and he'll probably throw 40 touchdowns this year.
If Aaron Rodgers wasn't with the Jets, even with the little bit of success that they had last year, everybody would still be saying the Jets are trash.
I just hope Zach Wilson is DMing Aaron Rodgers' mom, as we speak.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers came to New York to bang Zach Wilson's mom.
Zach Wilson is actually DPing Aaron Rodgers' mom as we speak.
Wow.
That's Hard Knocks,
it's
baby.
Getting graphic.
That's Hard Knocks.
Burning River.
Burning River.
Well, speaking of Burning River, it's time for the Burning River Sportscast Hot Take Hotline. All right, well, it's not time for it. I just want to remind you to go ahead and call and leave your hot takes on the hot take.
Only call right now.
No, you can call anytime. Remember, these are hot takes. I want to hear how many yards Watson does or doesn't throw for this season. I want to hear how many games Stefanski wins, or better yet, how many games he loses due to his bad decisions this year. I want to hear your over-under prediction for how long Nick Chubb has left with the Cleveland Browns. And I still want to know who would win in a fight, Elon or old Zucks. We want hot takes.
Hot cakes.
We want hot takes. We want hot takes. 330-227-8080.
330-227-8080.
330-227-8080. Call now. Operators are not standing by.
Just a voicemail box.
All right, so you know what time it is. Let's take a quick revenue break and get back here to talk to our special guest, Emily Morgan, who had one of the top designs in the fan vote for the Dawg Pound logo this year. Ooh. I'm excited. Apple Music. Listen to over 100 million songs ad-free with 0 commercials. Plus, get unlimited downloads to your library and listen anywhere without Wi-Fi or using data. There's no commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Click the link in our show notes and subscribe to Apple Music now. All right, so our next guest is a self-taught graphic designer specializing in logos, merch design, and branding. She has taken the internet by storm with her redesigns of professional sports clubs' logos. For the clubs that she's done have included the New York Islanders, the Miami Dolphins, the Washington Commanders, the New York Giants, FC Bayern München. Did I say that right?
I don't know.
Freaking soccer. The Tennessee Titans, Brooklyn Nets, Indianapolis Colts, Philadelphia Eagles, Chicago Cubs, Golden State Warriors, who blew a 3-1 lead in the 2016 NBA Finals, I may add. The New York Jets, LA Chargers, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and the entire AFC North, including the Dawg Pound logo design that led the fan vote for the Cleveland Browns for almost the entire competition. She is up to over 100,000 followers on Instagram and is clearly in high demand when it comes to her skill set. Please help me welcome Emily Morgan. Yeah!
Hello.
Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How are things going? And give us some background here.
Yeah, so kind of what you said in the intro, I am a self-taught graphic designer. So when I say that, I went to school for advertising, but I actually took a graphic design class, and that kind of introduced me to the love of designing. So after that, I was like, well, I love this, so I'm just going to learn on the side through YouTube videos and all that. But I was primarily for my real job and stuff, I was in marketing, your basic corporate job, and I hated it a lot. And then
don't we all?
Yeah, right. So this past March, actually, I quit kind of just on a whim because I just really wasn't happy. And then I started posting these, and luckily they gained a lot of traction kind of at the right time for me. And that's how I ended up here. So I've been pretty new to really graphic design as a full-time job, but I've been doing it for a couple years now, mainly on the side, but now it's my full-time job, and I'm still learning a lot every day.
So are you a big sports fan, or did sports logos just kind of come naturally to you for some reason?
I've always been a huge sports fan. Actually, when I was younger, I wanted to do sports broadcasting. I wanted to be interviewing, the athletes and all that. But, that comes with a lot of writing. So I did not like that at all. But I definitely wanted to be in sports. I just didn't really know how I would get there. But eventually I kind of found my way. But yeah, growing up, I've always loved sports. I've always been super competitive too. And I just love watching the best athletes ever just do the most amazing things. I think it's so cool to see. And I love it.
Yeah. And obviously we agree. I mean, there's a reason we talk about football all day. Kudos to you for quitting your 9 to 5 and chasing your dreams.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a hard thing to do.
It really is. And it takes a lot of guts. So that's pretty awesome. What's your, you mentioned these logo redesigns and how they've kind of got some traction and taken off a little bit. How have they changed your outlook or your career trajectory in your eyes?
Yeah, it's weird because it all happened so quick. So I don't even know if I like really understood my outcome when I was doing these. Because when I started posting these, they were just for fun and to get better as a graphic designer. But then when people started saying they want this on merch or like we want you to do this team, or when teams would actually comment on my like videos, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like gushing over it. I was loving that. But it's changed just like everything, like every day, like it's just every day's different, I think. And I don't know how to like explain it, but like some days are easier than others. But overall, yeah, it's changed my whole future. And I have no idea what that entails in like 5 months either. I do want to start like doing like YouTube videos too. I think that would be super fun. I just have to like get a setup. Like I'm sure you guys know, like you're in the middle of doing that. Like I want to get a nice little setup because I didn't think at all I would be able to like have followers. I was just trying to do freelance, but now it's like kind of shifting to more people following me for me and my videos and stuff.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on a really good topic there. So everybody thinks that they can go in and just make videos or do whatever and put it out there, and everybody's going to follow you. But you're thinking about it the right way. A proper setup and getting the things that you need in order to be successful are paramount to a venture like that. So
absolutely,
exactly.
With your redesigns that you've done so far, what's your favorite one you've done to date? Myself, I like the Commanders so far. The Washington Monument incorporated into it was pretty dope. So, but what's your favorite so far?
So it changes a lot. Like my friends ask me all the time, or they'll tell me their favorite and stuff. It's so I see my designs so much, like, so I'll see like so many flaws then, later on. So I'd say right now, the one that's kind of fresh in my head is the New York Islanders one. I really did. I liked doing that one. And because growing up, I loved hockey. Like hockey was my sport growing up. So it was really fun to start kind of dipping into that. I think right now they're my favorite. But like my other ones, I liked my Chicago Cubs one. A lot of people obviously like the Lions one. That was the one that kind of blew up. But like I've seen it so much. I wish I did some things differently. But yeah, I think the Islanders and the Cubs one are my favorite for right now. Might change my mind next week.
Where are you from originally? So what sports teams did you grow up rooting for originally?
So I'm from Illinois, like an hour outside Chicago, north of Chicago. So I'm a big Chicago fan. So I'm more of a Cubs fan too, because that's just who we all rooted for. But growing up, I was like a die-hard Blackhawks fan, because that's when they were super, super good, winning Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup. So I was die hard for them, and now I'm really into football. Like I love football so much. I wish I was watching it more when I was younger. But yeah, I like all the Chicago sports teams, but now I live in Milwaukee because I went to school up here. So I also like the Bucks and I like the Brewers. I mean, they're not my favorite teams, but I enjoy watching them too.
So you like the Bears.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Have the Blackhawks reached out to you? Because I think they need a new logo.
The Cleveland baseball team here had to go through.
We went through all that.
Right. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. So with the Dawg Pound logo redesign, though, kind of walk us through that. How at what point did you decide to enter the competition, or how did you hear about it, and how was it being in the competition?
What was the thought process behind the design?
Oh gosh, it's actually probably not what people expect. So I think the competition, like you had to enter the design in by like the 20th, and I found out about it on the 17th, and I'm like, I gotta try this. But I was leaving for a trip on the 20th, so I had like 2 days to work on it. And now looking back on it, like, and I say this all the time, and I know I said it earlier, I actually really do not like my design anymore. I don't think it's bad, but like, I would change so much now looking back on everything. But my thought process behind it was just do some research on the Browns and, see what they like. And it was kind of hard because I know we were in the fan entry, but then after that we were up against the graphic designers they kind of hired. and I'm assuming they had a little bit more than a couple of days, and seeing their logos, it was like awesome. They were so good, and I'm like, I do not want to win this at all. Like, these logos are so much better, and I do like the one that did win. I think it's really intimidating looking, but being in it was super, super fun. Just never would have thought this opportunity would have happened, and now I get to go to a Cleveland Browns game in September. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
See, she mentions the one that won, which is the one we got into a debate over the last two, and I picked the one that won, and he picked the other one. So out of those last two, was that one your favorite?
I think so. I was switching back and forth because the one that won, it is very different. Like there wasn't a lot of other logos in the entry that looked like that, but like with all the little hidden features in it, I'm like, this is just like so good. There's so much history in that logo. The other one I like too a lot. I think the other one just won me over, with those little Easter eggs. And I kind of like the shading of it. I thought it looked really cool. But I liked both. But a little bit more the one that won.
Kenny's so salty right now.
Either way, it has to instill a great level of confidence knowing that you went toe-to-toe with people that have probably been doing this a lot longer than you.
Yeah, and so, I mean unofficially...
have more resources and equipment.
Unofficially, you came in like third, right? Because you basically won the fan vote. So. And then they said, well, we're just going to go with the two that we kind of planted in here. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. And we're again, congratulations on winning the fan vote. I think that's really awesome. And the fact that you say you only worked on it 2 or 3 days, a little bit of a humble brag there. I like that.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
All right. So was there any point, kind of during this competition that you thought, you know what, I might win this thing?
I don't know necessarily when, because I know I was in the top 10 for kind of the whole thing. There was a time where I was getting like really excited. And when I was able to start seeing the amount of votes I had, that was like really cool. But I was still so nervous because I knew this was just a fan vote. I had no idea what like the Cleveland Browns are going to come out with. And like, I mean, I was expecting like amazing stuff, and they really did come out with cool stuff. So when it was during the fan vote, I was excited, but kind of after that, I was getting nervous. I was like, oh geez, like I'm about to go up to some like, no pun intended, like some big dogs here. Like literally these are going to be some cool logos. But I wasn't trying to be too hard on myself because I naturally, just as a designer, you're so critical of yourself. So I just try to like have fun with it. And it was really fun. It was so fun just seeing like all the Cleveland Browns fans like commenting what they liked about it. And I think if I ever thought I was going to win, it might have lasted for like 2 seconds, because then I was like, oh no, don't get too excited. Like you haven't won yet or anything.
Yep, no, that's actually a really good segue. You mentioned the Browns fans. And so my next question was just what impression did the Browns and the Browns fans have on you? I mean, were they nice to you in the comments? Were the trolls out in force? Like what kind of, what was going on? And do you still think kindly of us after this whole thing? Because the Browns fans can get pretty rowdy.
Honestly, no, I would say majority they were awesome. You're always going to have like trolls. Like there will always just be people that are like just so like have no filter at all. But no, almost everyone was like super nice, or just even constructive criticism, super helpful too. Like, but no, I had no bad impressions at all, like with the fans, and even the organization, because I was in touch with kind of the guy that ran the competition, and they were really, really nice too, and just super enthusiastic about it all. So no, I think it was a very, very good like experience for both, I think, fans and designers, because I think it was good that they allowed you guys to, like have a say. I wish more teams would do that. I think it would be way more fun for the fans.
Well, but judging by what you've said, I mean, if we had a little bit more of a say, you might have won. Yeah. But it sounds like I kind of joked as this whole competition was going on our show, and I said, there's some plants here from the Browns, and it turns out there actually were some plants, and those they kind of already had the final two picked. So
when you see some of these, obviously in the last few years we've had the Guardians kind of redo theirs, the Washington Commanders. Like when you see some of these designs that are the final designs, are you kind of like, oh,
Yeah. It's so like hard because like as a designer, I definitely know like maybe some of their thought processes behind it. But also, it's funny. I was just doing like a Q&A video I filmed like yesterday, and I had a similar questions like about the Commanders, or I think it was the Chargers. Someone else mentioned like, what are your thoughts on these logo designs that didn't get the best response? And it's just like a matter of finding kind of like the simplicity of designing a logo, but also having those like special things that connect with the fans of the team. Like it is like you have to find that perfect mix. So I wish like the Commanders one was something a little bit more fun. And I mean, it's like they're Washington, D.C. I feel like there's so many things you can do with that, like some patriotic stuff. And they, just went with the W.
It's just a block W. So
right. Yeah. And I mean, it's not ugly. It's not an ugly W, but it's just like, it almost looks kind of like corporate-y a little bit. And it's just, I wish they did something a little bit more like intimidating or sharp or something. But yeah, when I see these logo redesigns, obviously everyone has an opinion. So my opinion isn't any better than anyone else's. Just sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. And it's hard.
Not everybody got famous on their logo redesign. So I think your opinion carries a little bit
ahead of the game.
I guess.
No, so I guess, kind of to start wrapping things up here. Is there anything you'd like to say to all the fans you gained in Cleveland throughout this process? I mean, I know you said you researched the team, so is there anything directly to the fans?
Of course, a big thank you. I am kind of a Cleveland Browns fan. That's why I have my shirt. I love Nick Chubb. So it was just, he's definitely one of my favorite players. Just thank you to the whole like Cleveland Browns fans, anyone that voted for me or anyone that even didn't and just like gave me a comment back. I always say like, I love the feedback from all the fans because you guys always have like the best ideas for the teams. Thank you for everything you've done, sharing it or anything like that. It's been so crazy. I don't know how to like respond to stuff like that. Like I just like get all giddy inside and then I don't really know what to do. But no, it was an awesome experience. And I wish I could do it again. Like I really do wish I could like go back in time and do it all over again.
Well, Kenny gave the logo 3 years, so maybe there'll be another competition.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah. I could see that happening.
Yeah, so I guess Kenny, you got one more thing
I got two rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
0 to 10, the Burning River Sportscast logo.
Honestly, I think it's a 10. I think you guys did great on it.
Hell yes. Yes. That's coming from one of the most successful logo designers in America right now.
You heard it here. And then just being that you're from like the Illinois, like Chicago area, what's your favorite, your go-to pizza in Chicago?
Oh, Lou Malnati's. For sure, deep dish Lou Malnati's pizza.
Nice.
I like pizza. I think it's Pizzeria Uno. Is that the one?
Everything a big chain.
Something Uno. It's something with one. I don't remember what it was. There was one that I liked over there.
Lou Malnati's is like.
It's good. I've had it. They brought They brought one of them over and put it in Columbus not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Giordano's.
That's what it was, and it's just not as good in Columbus.
No,
at all.
I bet. Yeah, I feel like that's hard to transition to a different state when it's like really Chicago based. Yeah, it's probably hard. I grew up on that stuff.
Awesome. So just as we wrap up, is there a specific place or social media, website, places that fans can find drawings and future works or even get a hold of you if they're interested in collabs or merchandise?
Mm-hmm. So just my social media for both TikTok and Instagram. I think it's just Emily Morgan Creates. Best way to contact me is probably through my email, which is also just emilymorgancreates@gmail.com, or through my website, which is in my links. I'm still figuring out how to organize all that. So I hope everyone that has reached out, please be patient. I'm trying to respond. I wish I had like 7 hands so I could just type back to everyone. But yeah, so I'd say those are the places you could find me, and feel free to comment or not follow me or follow me, whatever you want to do.
Well, we'll make sure we get all the links in the launch of the video.
You'll definitely. I think I already did follow you on our socials, but if I didn't, it's coming. So, well, Emily, it's been awesome having you. We really appreciate your time. We know you're a busy lady after you've blown up like this. So, again, thank you. Good luck to the rest of everything else that you're doing here. I'm sure there's more logo redesigns to come, and we can't wait to see what those look like.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What a nice young lady. She's just out there doing big things.
Doing it big.
Yeah, so that is great having Emily Morgan. And she did give our logo a 10 out of 10. And you know where you can find our logo? On our merch. So check out our merch and all of our gear at the Tappan Media shop. That's www.thetappanmedia.com/shop. If you want to go to our show specifically, you click show specific, you click Burning River Sportscast, and there you go. There you have it. You can get this mug, this mug, this mug, this mouse pad, this hat, that hat, that hat, that hat.
The whole Chubb line.
This phone case. You can get it all at our shop. So go there.
/shop.
And buy it. So, Kenny. What can we expect next episode?
What can we expect next week? That's what you're going to ask
Not next
me?
week, next episode. 2 weeks.
Next episode.
We always forget what weeks we have shows.
That's because we've been bisexual all season.
We're bi-weekly, not bisexual.
Bi-weekly all off season. Let me tell you what you can expect, because you teased it at the top of the show, and I'll tell you right now, this is going to alter the course of human history.
At least Cleveland history, for sure.
Human history.
Human history.
This is going to be the biggest news story no one's heard of to this point.
Yes, I agree.
And it will be the biggest news story you hear at the time.
Yes.
So we probably won't talk a whole lot of Browns, Cavs, or Guardians, because nothing's really happening right now across all three sports.
And this is important. People got to hear it.
And this is incredibly important. And it's taken us over a year to put this together.
Yeah.
So in lieu of the traditional podcast, we will put together a special presentation for you when we return in 2 weeks.
If anything big happens in training camp, I'll give it a shout out at the top of the show. But then we're going straight into the news story. Okay, we won't.
We won't. We'll record a separate pod if something happens.
All right.
It'll be 10 seconds long. It'll say, Nick Chubb tore his ACL. All right. Burning River Sportscast.
That'd be the worst thing ever. So you can find us on social media. Tappan Media is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Tappan Media. And Burning River Sportscast, that's this podcast, is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Burning River Sportscast, and Twitter at Burning River Pod. You can find our actual podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Castro, Good Pods, and so many more. And do you know what that takes us to, Kenny?
My favorite time of the week.
It's time for Facts for Days. What do you got for me, Kenny?
I have facts for days.
I want to hear them.
Are you ready for them?
Usually I'm not.
Number one, numero uno. Female kangaroos have 3 vaginas.
What?
Confused?
Yes.
So are the males.
Oh.
Still looking for that hot spot, baby.
What is happening? Oh my God, this just went to a whole new level.
Number 2.
You're just leaving it that nothing else to tell. What is
Number 2. 20% of coffee mugs contain fecal matter.
Ew.
Now look around. There's so much shit on our desk.
What has happened?
Number 3. It would take 12 million mosquitoes eating at full force to completely drain a human of their entire blood supply. And if that were to happen to you, boy, would that suck.
That would be terrible. I've been swarmed by mosquitoes.
And that may be a problem, but wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just don't be a part of the problem. Be the whole damn problem.
And only you can prevent river fires.
Burning River Sportscast! Burning Rivers! Burning Rivers! Burning Rivers!
In God's name just happened.
That's how you close out a show, bitch.
Holy hell. It took me a minute to compose myself. That was... You brought the heat.
I brought the heat. I brought it today, man. What can I say?
Man, I was high energy this entire show. I don't know what happened. I'm usually kind of low key, and I was fired up today.
I took you for all you were worth.
Between kickers, facts for days, our news story coming up, I don't know.
I just DP'd you like Zach Wilson.
Quit saying DP.
Burning River Sportscast. Burning River. That's the sound I make when I 3P you.
I volunteer as tribute. I'm Kenny Thunder. Seat him aside.
I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
I just hope Zach Wilson is DMing Aaron Rodgers' mom, like as we speak.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy.
Let me taste that real quick. You taste like you're ready to smash.
Oh yeah.
Erroneous on both counts.
It reminded me of the movie Ali when he's training and they're running next to him. Yeah, in the village. Yeah, everybody's training around him. Well, they're not training. Ali's training and they're just running around him. Or like in Rocky when the city runs with him. Like that's what you choose your reference. But that's
fiction and nonfiction both.
Yeah.
Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my name.
I gotta know.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see?
Browns fan cruise and the Burning River Sportscast. What better combination could you possibly think of?
Okay, so the scariest environment imaginable. Thanks. That's all you gotta say. Scariest environment imaginable.
Hey, Browns fans. This is your chance to join the company of some of the Browns' all-time greats on the first ever Browns fan cruise. Picture this. For 5 unforgettable days, you're sailing across the beautiful Caribbean Sea, reliving the Browns' greatest moments, getting autographs, snapping photos, and celebrating on the beach with your favorite Browns alumni, like Josh Cribbs, Webster Slaughter, Eric Metcalf, and a dozen others. Book now and take advantage of our easy, budget-friendly payment plans on this once-in-a-lifetime, all-inclusive cruise adventure. The clock's ticking, Browns fans. To book your cabin and for more information, visit brownsfancruise.com or call 216-284-6472 today. Browns Fan Cruise, where diehard fans and Browns alumni come together for the trip of a lifetime. Don't wait. Secure your spot today and go Browns!